Welcome to the Art of My Fiction. I'm Jane Daly.
And I am Robynne Miller.
And today we are going to be asking the question, should you join a writers' organization?
Yes. Okay, next topic.
So first of all, let me answer the big question as what is a writers' organization?
That is a good question.
So here's my Wikipedia. A writers' organization is a membership group whose main purpose is to help writers. They often focus on a specific genre or field of writing. Many have national level boards and local chapters who host monthly meetings. They survive on volunteerism and member participation. What do you think? Do you think that you should join a writers' organization?
Oh, yes, for a million reasons that we're going to get into, but absolutely. But I also do think that you ought to pick one that serves your needs where you are. So
absolutely.
It's not just about joining one. It's about joining one that really is going to help you and be a benefit to you.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about what are the pros and cons of membership or writers' organizations. Usually each group that you join, they will provide you advocacy, they provide opportunity, community, and industry insight. And so going back to what you said, it is important that you pick one. If you're going to write cozy mysteries, you probably don't want to join the one that just went out of my mind. Romance Writers of America.
Exactly.
Whereas if you write romance, you're not going to be wanting to join, the murder mystery.
Yeah. And if you're straight nonfiction, you're not going to want to join a fiction group.
Fiction.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yes. So another thing that writers' organizations really help writers with is opportunity for publication. Yeah. So you can submit for contests. You can submit to anthologies that they publish. Also, a lot of times they will offer classes or workshops, and some even offer mentorship programs.
Love that.
Yeah, it's really, it's a good idea to do some research. And a lot, of course, most writers' organizations offer
critique groups.
God. Yes, I'm sorry.
She's having a day. Yes, they do offer critique groups. I'm not sure why that was so funny, but they absolutely do. Okay.
Well, joining a critique group can be very, very stressful, as you know, because think about it. A lot of times they will ask you to read your work out loud. And can you imagine sitting in front of a group of people that, number one, you don't know very well, and number two, who've never heard your stuff, and you read it out loud and then they critique you. That is the scariest thing.
See,
ever.
All the critique groups that I lead, I don't make people do that. But now I think I might.
Well, so let's digress for just a minute. Hearing your own work read out loud, which I recommend for every author to at least read part of what you are doing.
I agree with that.
Really helps you hear, oh, yeah, that sounds awkward. Whereas reading it, you don't think it sounds awkward, but out loud.
Yeah,
really.
I agree with that. And I do recommend that you read your work out loud. I just hadn't thought about forcing you to do that in a critique group. That's kind of like going naked to the mall or something.
It's really threatening. I was just thinking about a time when I was in a morning mentoring session with Robin Jones-Gunn at Mount Herman. And oh my goodness, we had to read our work out loud and then have everyone critique. And that I was laughing because it was the most frightening thing in the world.
I can imagine that. But I think I see the point of why some would do it. But that's another part of getting the right organization and the right fit for you, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Because for whatever you're wanting to do and what will be more helpful to you, you need to really know that that's what the group is going to address. There are people who need a lot more. They're at maybe the newer start of writing, and some of these writing groups sort of assume that you have a level of understanding or a level of connection.
Yeah, when you're saying deep POV and and some of the things that we know what that means, but a newer writer would would
Yeah.
be like, I don't know what your acronyms
And
are.
and I think this transfers to, we're going to talk about this in an upcoming podcast, but writers' conferences too. It's all wonderful to say I'm going to a writers' conference, but they really do have personalities of their own and they meet specific needs. So if you're going to invest your marketing in yourself
Mhm.
dollar or your education dollar in a writing conference or a writing group or a critique or whatever it is, you need to really do your kind of due diligence and make sure that your needs are going to be met.
Right.
So that's an important tip.
That's true. So there are definitely advantages to being a part of a writers organization. There are some things to consider. I won't exactly call them cons, pros, cons, but there are some things to consider. One is that it is going to take time.
Yeah.
So time that you're going to take away from your writing to go to a critique group, submit to your critique group, let's
Yeah.
just say, also critique your other critique group members' works. And if you volunteer to teach or you volunteer to lead a workshop, there's time that's taken away from your own writing to prepare and to go, and you may get paid or you may not get paid.
Yeah.
So that giving back, do you have the time to give back to a writers organization that you're going to join? And a lot of them may ask, can you write a blog? Can you submit for this? And that's all time that you're,
or just volunteer for events
just volunteer.
And I think that that's a really good point, because a writers organization, I don't think that there are any that are for profit. They're all basically serving writers. And so the only way that you can serve writers is to have writers step up to participate in the serving of other writers. So you're right, there is a time commitment there.
And there's also a financial commitment. And that's something that you need to consider as far as how much is it going to cost?
Yeah.
And how many organizations can I really join with the limited amount of money that I have? Most of them are pretty inexpensive, but if you're talking $50 here, there, and there, that's $100 a year. Plus, if you enter a contest, there's a charge for that.
Yeah.
All of those things that you need to really consider as you're looking at what kind of writers organization that you may want to join. And I'm not saying that you necessarily have to, but that's what we're here to talk about. Does it work? Will it work for you?
And I think your point is correct in that I don't know that many people, especially aspiring writers, who have an unlimited marketing budget. So
really,
I know, shocking. And most writers organizations are somewhere between $50 and $100 a year annual fee. And that is actually not that expensive unless you're involved in 5 of them. And if you're involved in 5 of them, then often that's the cost of going to a conference. So you might be better served in going to a conference and saving that money for a place where you're connecting with and meeting and learning, because it's an intense learning sort of situation. So you're much better off just kind of considering what you're going to do with what monies you have available. And there's one other con that I just thought of, because I was talking with you and I had this conversation actually at a board meeting. Our affiliations as a writer is part of our platform.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to pitch a straight nonfiction book, but you are a member of American Christian Fiction Writers and Romance Writers of America and Amish Quilt Romance Mystery Writers, whatever, and you're trying to pitch a nonfiction book, that's actually part of your identity. You're identifying with as one genre, but you're trying to break into another. So you need to kind of consider that too. Are you painting yourself strictly fiction, but you're writing mostly nonfiction? Because the fact is, publishers and agents and editors will look at those things. So it's kind of a weird little side thing, but you definitely want to make sure that the whole picture of you as a writer is going toward marketing yourself in the genre that you're trying to either break into or continue in. So
absolutely. So that's a good point. And before I go into what I've personally benefited from writers organization, I want to talk about some of the writers organizations that I came up with when I was doing some research. So, of course, I need to plug Inspire Christian Writers, which we are both a member of.
Yep.
Actually, both on the board. Robin is the board president, and I am the board
El Presidente. I think
I
we've
am-
established it's El Presidente.
and I am El Dinero or La Dinera because I'm the money person. So, and Inspire is both fiction and nonfiction, but it
Yeah.
is strictly a Christian organization whose mission is to equip writers to change the world.
Yeah, encourage and equip writers. That's our whole
Mhm.
Christian writers. That's our whole remit.
And it's fairly inexpensive. So I'm going to, shameless plug time. It is inexpensive. It's $50 a year.
Yeah.
There is no cost to submit for our anthology,
Nope.
whereas other organizations may charge for submitting for a contest, but ours is free. We just sometimes we have a minimal charge to cover meals or snacks at one of our workshops.
Yeah.
So
for the most part, it's there are some organizations that are a little bit more specific to either a genre, or they're more of like Oregon Christian Writers is really about.
They're next on my list.
They're next on our list. They're more conference and teaching based. So they're workshops and conferences. They don't have some of these other things. So our Inspire, we do quarterly workshops, and we have the anthology. We have critique groups, and the critique groups and the workshops are free, and the anthology free, the $50. And we also get discounts. So, for example, if you go to some other conferences, you get a discount. Usually that's in the same amount as the $50 annual fee. So we're a little bit more of that all-inclusive, but some groups they have a specific purpose or a specific benefit to them.
Right. So ACFW, American Christian Fiction Writers, if you're a fiction writer, that's a national organization that has local chapters. That is a good one to be involved in.
Yeah. They have a great conference. Massive.
Oh, it's huge. I think
conference.
probably 700 people attend that.
And it moves around. So some of these conferences are like Oregon Christian Writers, always going to be in Oregon.
In Oregon.
Funny that. But ACFW is one of those ones that moves around. So it kind of goes, look for it in the fall. It might be near you. Might be. So, and it's big.
I find that they're pretty much east of the Mississippi, but that's a good one. Also, RWA, Romance Writers of America. Now, while this is not specifically a Christian organization, it is for people who write romance, hence the name, Romance Writers of America. Yeah. And then Sisters in Crime. This is for those of you who love to write crime mysteries or just crime novels. That's very, very specific. Mystery Writers of America is another one that people join for. I guess for writing mysteries. I don't know. It is a mystery to me. And then you have Northwest Christian Writers Association. Now, I'm not as familiar. I know that they're located up in Washington.
They do a conference, and they have great reputation up there. So they're serving the Northwest corner of America.
Now, a lot of these are organizations that also put on a conference. But so like AFCW, American Christian Fiction, they also, they do have critique groups in their various chapters, but some of them just specifically exist to put on a conference.
Yeah, I think that's Realm Makers isn't Christian, but it's specifically,
it's a conference,
it's just a conference.
It's just a conference. Yeah, it's not like a membership, like an organization. It's just for those people who write fantasy and dystopian and that type of thing.
And there are some other organizations, like this was the funniest thing ever. I was teaching I was doing a leadership training for people who will be leading critique groups and things, or who were interested. And there's about, 25 people in the room, and seated right next to each other. There were 3 people in a row who didn't know each other prior to the training. And they were all members of this super obscure group that was about writing dinner mystery. What was it?
Oh,
I can't
yeah,
remember.
yes.
It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
writing those,
Mystery dinner
theater
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the scripts of when you're going to a dinner theater, and it's a mystery interactive kind of thing. They have
Well, or it's also a game. So I could go and I could go online and I could purchase this dinner mystery game
yeah.
and download it and have everybody's parts and
Yeah.
who did it and they write that.
And who knew? I mean, 3 people in a room of like 25 other people did this thing, and we're all members of some sort of group that was the whole remit of their specific group. So it can be micro focused, and that was more about opportunity and support and encouragement and kind of industry news.
Right.
They didn't have some of the bigger things, and some are just conferences, and some are kind of a mix.
Mhm.
So
I want to talk before we end about some of the benefits that I've personally received from being a part of some writers' organizations. I think I'm like 4. I'm a little bit of an overachiever, but
Yeah, you are.
the one opportunity is that I have had to write for Inspire Christian Writers blog, which was named last year as one of the top 10 blogs of 2018.
International.
In
the world.
And so writing for your organization's blog is a really good way to get a little bit more exposure. It gives you writing with deadlines, being able to write tight, which we're going to discuss in a future podcast. But I had submitted probably 3 or 4 blogs to Inspire. It also, organization can help you with your book launch and also for exposure for your book. I know that with 2 of the writers' organizations I'm involved in, my book titles are listed on their website as, hey, look at our authors and here's what they've written.
And so and Inspire, we leverage all of our media. So we'll put it on our blog, we'll put it on our Facebook page, which has thousands of likers. I can't even remember, friends. What do we call it? I don't know what they are.
Likes. We got likes. We have likes.
But we when there's a book launch for one of our members, we
You're
tweet
on it.
it.
We're on it.
We get it out to everywhere that we have reached. So a lot of organizations will do that on behalf of their members.
Also, critique groups. Critique groups have helped me immensely from when I first started writing. Of course, I didn't know the difference between come here and sickum. So that's an old Southern term from my Grammy. Being part of a critique group, just getting a fresh perspective of your writing is really important. And critique groups offer that opportunity to be able to hear what other people say or to pick up stuff that you missed. I mean, for instance, when I first started writing, I used the word that a lot. She knew that, blah, blah, blah. And my critique group was really good at picking those out. Now they're very good at picking out she and her because I use she and her a lot. And they're quick to let me know that I use it a lot. Also, an organization will give you the opportunity to network with industry professionals, which is very important because you want to be able to network because we would love to think that we can operate as writers in a little, turret and do nothing except write and send our words out and the world will love it. But we have to climb down out of the tower and actually talk to people. Yes, and networking with industry and professionals is very important. Also, as Robin mentioned, discounts to major writing conferences. As a member of, for instance, Inspire, we get discounts to some of the other conferences that are in the area. So for me personally, the answer to the question of should you join a writers organization would be a resounding yes.
Which I think I started with because we could have just avoided the whole podcast.
Yeah, we could
because the answer
we've
yes.
just wasted 20 minutes of your time that you will never get back. But at the end of the day, really, it's something that you need to think about and then also do your research and discover what is going to work the best for you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for listening. This is The Art of Semi-Fiction, where we explore every corner of the written word. I am Robynne Miller.
And I'm Jane Daly.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
That's right, and like us on
Facebook,
wherever you see
Twitter.
us.
Yeah, just like us.
Just like us. That'd be great.